Subhanallah walhamdulillah wallah.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I hope you're doing great. If you like horses, raise your hand and stick around because you're really going to like this story. We will read a story today, inshallah, from a book called A Cup of Mint Tea, which is a collection of really nice short stories that was collected by our dear sister who passed away last year, Iman Abdullah Al-Qaisi. I'll just take 1 minute to say, may Allah have mercy upon her. May Allah give her the highest ranking in Jannah. And I'm going to read some stories, inshallah, to you. Today we'll do one. And every time I read a story from her book and we learn something from her book, I pray that she will get good deeds too, because we are learning from this beautiful book of hers. The story is called Qur'an is Light. Let's find out why and how. Our story today is going to take you into the past. So go again, travel back 1,400 years back into the city of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam in Medina. Let's look at this picture. Try to imagine what Medina was like back then. Okay. So one of Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him's friends, his name was Usayd bin Hudayr. Now he was known and very famous for something special about him. What was special about Usayd was he had a beautiful recitation of the Qur'an. He would read with a beautiful rhythm. He would get all his tajweed right, and such a beautiful voice that when you hear him read the Qur'an, your heart would just capture your heart. So one night, it was a starry night outside. There was a cool breeze. He said to his young son, who was just a little boy, his son's name was Yahya, would you like to go outside? Like, let's take advantage of this beautiful starry night. He took his son and they went outside into their land that they had outside. He had a horse, an amazing horse. The Arabs in Medina, they were well known that they had beautiful Arabian horses. The night sky was filled with twinkling stars. So they sat down, and Yahya, the little boy, he just fell asleep. So Usayd was left alone, and it was so peaceful and cool and calm. And he said, well, it's such a beautiful, lovely night. Well, I would like to read some Qur'an. So he began reading some verses of the Qur'an that he knows. And Usayd had a beautiful voice. Let's listen to this recitation of some of the verses that he read to kind of get us into the calm and peaceful mood.
Alif Lam Mim ذلك الكتاب لا ريب فيه هدى للمتقين.
The verses that he read meant, in the name of Allah, most gracious, most merciful, Alif Lam Mim. This is the book about which there is no doubt, a guidance for those who have piety and who are conscious of Allah. But Usayd had to cut off reading Qur'an, and he had to stop because for some reason his horse became rowdy with excitement and all of a sudden started moving and kicking. Usayd was worried that the horse would disturb his son, who was sleeping so peacefully not too far from where the horse was by the palm tree. So he stopped, he looked over to the horse, kind of shushed him down, and then the horse calmed down and was quiet. So Usayd figured, okay, now that the horse is calm, I guess nothing's wrong. I will continue reading Qur'an. He went on to the next verse of Qur'an.
الذين يؤمنون بالغيب ويقيمون الصلاة ومما رزقناهم ينفقون.
And this verse means that the pious ones Those who fear Allah, they are the ones who they believe in the unseen. They believe in the books. They believe in the prophets and the angels, even though we never saw them. They establish their prayers. They pay charity. They give from their money to the poor. But once again, he couldn't continue reading the Qur'an that he wanted to read because this time his horse went wild. The horse was neighing and kicking, lifting its legs and landing back down on the ground. Usaid had to stop for a second time. This time he was really worried about his son. The horse is a powerful animal. If it trampled on his son or stepped on his son, the horse could really hurt his son. He had to stop again. Usaid looked over to the horse, tried to calm the horse down. And again, the horse was breathing gently and slowly and calmed down. So Usaid thought it's safe enough to continue reading Qur'an. He read some more.
أولئك على هدى من ربهم وأولئك هم المفلحون.
Those believers, they are the successful. Muflihun, in that verse, it means successful. They will be successful in the akhirah and they will win Jannah and everything that their heart desires. Usaid was reading Qur'an beautifully. And again, the horse went wild. Usaid had to stop. Now he was really concerned for the safety of his son. He completely stopped reading the Qur'an. He looked over to his son. Alhamdulillah, he was not injured. He looked to his horse. The horse began to calm down. Usaid was wondering, every time I read Qur'an, this horse is going wild and jumping and moving and kicking. Then Usaid looked up at the sky and he saw something that amazed him. He saw a cloud, but not really a cloud, like a haze. He saw something hazy and it looked as if it was lit up with 100 lanterns. It was lit up, and this cloud or this haze, when Usaid stopped reading the Qur'an, it started moving away. It started lifting up, going further and further, up, 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 up into the heavens and further away until it disappeared from his sight and he could no longer see that light, what looked like lanterns. He was really puzzled. It was really mysterious. Every time I read Qur'an, his horse goes wild and there was a cloud of light. When I stopped, it went up. He didn't know what to think. He picked up his son and went inside to get some sleep. The next morning, Usaid thought, the wise person that I could ask about what happened last night, maybe he will have some explanations, is of course, you know, Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He went over to his house and he told him about the amazing thing that happened last night. Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam told his friend Usaid, Abu Yahya, read and recite. Keep reciting the Qur'an with your beautiful voice. Because when you were reading, the angels from the heavens, they loved listening to your voice so much that they actually came down, 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 so they could be near to your voice and so they could hear the Qur'an that you were reading. And that is what startled your horse. Your horse was afraid of all these angels, this gathering of angels that had come down. So every time we read the Qur'an with a beautiful voice, we shouldn't rush through it and mumble through it. Let's try to read Qur'an the best way that we can. The angels come near to us and they love to listen to the Qur'an. And they make istighfar for us. They ask Allah, oh Allah, Rima is reading the Qur'an. Oh Allah, Walid is reading the Qur'an. Please forgive their sins. Please have mercy upon them. And I want you to imagine that just like we look up into the sky at night and we see the twinkling stars, Well, the angels, they come down at night and they look for the houses on the earth, because every house that has someone reading Qur'an in that house, the house glows and beams. And to the angels, our houses on earth look like stars to them. So I have a task and a favor to ask your parents. Let's ask them to stretch your bedtime a little. Maybe you can sleep a little later tonight. Stay up a little later at night. Read from the Qur'an so the angels will come down and listen to us. And know that your house is a star on earth, just like the stars in the sky.